welcome to this tutorial video on how to create the double face angle illusion on Photoshop. So if you're not familiar with Photoshop, then you need to familiarize yourself with it first, but this is a very basic introduction on how to do a basic editing to create this desired effect. Okay, so first of all, you'll need your front and side photos. I've just used two stock images here that I found on the web. So you need to make sure that these two photos are taken from the same distance. It's very important because otherwise you have to zoom and crop, and it's very difficult. So just make sure you maybe put the phone or your camera down somewhere and stand in at the exact same spot and turn and so on. Okay, so then we'll be using this or these two images. Okay, so first of all, what you want to do is you want to add a ruler to each of the images. If you don't know how to do that, just click on your image and hold in Control on your keyboard and press R. You'll see that that's a ruler. Okay, what you can use the ruler for is you can click and drag down here to his eyes, for example, and maybe his nose. Then on the next one, you can do the same thing, just to make sure that they are actually in line with each other. That's pretty important for the editing process, so then you can just move them into the same position. Doesn't have to be exact, but it just helps if they are more or less, you know, in the same spot. Okay, then what you want to do is, after you've done that, you can do it later as well. You click on this move tool, then you just drag those lines away so that they're not in some way affecting what you want to do later. Okay, after you've done that, you want to click on your object selection tool. On some Photoshops it's a magic selection tool, either or, doesn't matter. Okay, then you drag and select the whole picture. It'll then automatically choose the face, but you don't want to use that. You just want to select inverse, press delete, and make sure that this content says then white. You can make it black as well, depending on what you want, but then it makes the background that specific color to make the editing a bit easier. Same is then done on the other image. Okay, once again select inverse and delete, make it a black one as well. Alright, then you want to move this part which will make the silhouette onto that image. So you'll go to this move tool, make sure that it's the background that is selected, drag that over, and then you'll see you've already got a nice silhouette going. So you can just leave it there for a moment and then delete this image. We won't have to use that anymore. Drag this upwards until you can enlarge. Okay, this line is in the way, just take that out. Alright, now you can again use the move selection tool to move this into the exact spot you want. I think this would be more or less an accurate one. Okay, then you want to zoom in so that you can just work a bit more in detail. Obviously this one will pixelate because it's just a stock image from the internet, but if you use your photographic images it will not pixelate, so you can do much more in detail. Alright, so now we just want to quickly remove all the excess image we're not going to use. So the easiest way to do that is to just use the stamp tool, okay, and make the brush size just a bit bigger, maybe 31. You want to alt click on a black part, this one, and then you just want to drag that over. It's alt click and then left click, alt click, left click, and so on. Very simple way just to get rid of excess imagery you don't want to use. Okay, so we'll keep on doing that. If it doesn't work, maybe if you do that here it won't work that well, but just make sure that you alt click on a black part, or if you used white, a white part. Okay, if you make a mistake, obviously just redo. Okay, then we can just make sure that's more or less in a straight line. Obviously you can play with this as much as you want, and maybe just get rid of that top silhouette, that in the photo. Alright, then we've got this basically. Let's move a bit closer. Okay, so now what you can do is you can either use the clone stamp tool to make a few more corrections, like for example making the head a bit more round shaped. however you want to do it, but you can also enlarge this area. So if you want to do that, you go to your eraser tool, and you'll see that if I drag this along now, it brings a part of his face back. Okay, obviously I don't want to do that, but it helps you that maybe if you want to make his nose just a bit longer, maybe you can do this. Okay, not that much, but you can do it however you want, and you can maybe make his bridge a bit higher, bring his eye out just a bit more, and his eyebrow, and this will then enlarge his head as well just a little bit. Okay, you can form this to be as natural or naturally shaped as you want it to be. Maybe make his lip just a bit more visible, brings it out a bit more, maybe make this chin a bit more round. Okay, so you can play with this as much as you want, obviously. And the background color you choose, you just do that at the beginning when we deleted the background, so that you can do however you want. Okay, this is a very basic way. Obviously there's a more professional and detailed way of doing it, but this is what I did. I didn't have a lot of help, so it took me an hour or so, but I mean, I just showed you this in a few minutes. So if you do this with the assistance, maybe it'll take you less than half an hour. Okay, but what you can do after this is maybe if you want to then play around with some colors, you can also then maybe just go to your image, maybe auto tone. It'll make sure you choose the background. Auto tone, bring out a few other elements, or you can auto contrast. Let's just redo. If you auto contrast, that might happen, or if you want to auto color. Okay, so I think the auto tone is a nice one. So what you can do here then as well, if maybe you have a few spots you don't want to have on the photo, you can go to this spot healing brush tool. For example, that part we don't want. Okay, maybe take a few aging lines out. That's just a left click and drag. Alright, then what you can also do is maybe to highlight, let's say you want to bring out his eyes a bit more. You can do it a few ways, but I found that using the lasso tool helps. So on the background, lasso tool, just doing it vaguely there. Okay, after you've lassoed, you do adjustments. After adjustments, go to hue saturation, and from here you can maybe lighten it, or you can bring a bit more color, darken, lighten, whatever. You can play around with any adjustment here and use that. Okay, so that's the stock one again. Maybe we want to color balance a bit, so then we can bring out a bit more blue and cyan colors. See now his eyes are a bit more blue. So you can do that with any body part or facial part. And then, but that is basically what you need to do to give this illusion. Okay, if you want to then save the file, you can say save as. If you want to come back to it later, you can save it as a Photoshop, but you can also just drop down to JPEG, save that image. Let's just name it Final Black Background, and there we've got it. Make sure it's on maximum size and then save. And then you'll see it's almost like the one I've already did. I just did the other side. Okay, so that's basically it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it helps you to do it nice and simple.